Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedies, sometimes even the new ones. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Fantastic. Got a new jersey. Life is good. How about yourself, Ozzy?
I'm good. I'm good. Is that the jersey you're wearing right now that you're talking about?
Yeah, Jurassic Park 30th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best experiences I had in the theater as a child. Just and everybody just completely silent during the intense scenes.
Right.
You can't get like that anymore. It was
That's
unfortunate.
one of those movies you need to be in theaters for. And there's some movies I didn't have that experience in theaters. Like they redid Titanic and I got to finally see it in theaters. I was like, this is a completely different movie when you see it in theaters. And I think Jurassic Park
really have to go to the bathroom afterward because you can't pause. That's the only thing I could think of is there's literally water rushing everywhere. And I'm like, I have to pee so bad. This isn't helping.
We watched it when it got re-released in 3D with the D-Box seating.
Oh my gosh.
It was great.
Titanic with the D-Box, like motion with the Titanic.
Yeah.
So my experience with the D-Box, so like
Top Gun Maverick. They do World Trade Center and D-Box too? What the hell?
Ooh.
No, Top Gun Maverick. What did I say?
No, I'm saying doing Titanic and D-Box kind of.
Right. But like, so my experience with the D-Box format is that, so watching Top Gun Maverick, there's a scene where somebody shoots or like hits a pool cue on somebody's stomach or whatever. And when somebody hit the stomach, our whole seat shook. And I was just like, this is too much.
Yeah. Top Gun.
It can be too much sometimes.
There was one point they hit this was Avatar. I saw it. They hit a button, and when they hit the button, the whole thing shook, and I was like, yeah. So I wonder if it's like just whoever codes it can make or break that whole experience.
I'd want to see a Rocky movie in D-Box. That would be and then only make the punches in the fight, make the seat move. That would be interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm
Todd.
sure they did.
Also, I'm sorry. I apologize. I haven't introduced you, Flesh from producer Todd, as well.
They probably did some of the Creed movies in D-Box. I could see that of happening.
But I don't know if they would have coded it that each punch you would,
I know, but I got to know, Ozzy, how was the volleyball scene in Top Gun? Top Gun 2.
You mean no, that was football, so there was no
football.
Like nobody was hitting no one was hitting the ball.
Well, but when you caught, did it move you around like you're trying to catch the ball?
So I actually saw that in 4D and there was these two older gentlemen who were sitting next to us. For those of you who don't know 4D, there's like smoke and water and all this stuff that happens during the whole thing. And so you'd get and it moves. And so you'd get like mist when like the jets took off or you're by the ocean. So it was really cool. And then these two old guys were sitting next to my mom and I when we were watching it. And when the love scene came on, he was like, if I get squirted in the face, I swear to God.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty good. I apologize for a sidebar discussion, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are reviewing and discussing the Netflix released film Unfrosted, partially co-written by Jerry Seinfeld, directed by him as well. Todd, do you have a trailer available? And if you can you please roll it?
Control, we are go for launch. T-minus 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
I believe we have split the atom of breakfast.
In the early 1960s, the American morning was defined by milk and cereal. And the two undisputed giants of the cereal world were Kellogg's and Post.
Major news from the breakfast world. The Post Cereal Company has reportedly invented a shelf-stable fruit pastry breakfast product.
No.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's Post. They did it.
I'm about to finally crush that big red K that never stops glaring at me. How do you think Post did it?
There's always a surprise inside the box.
I wonder if they use xanthan gum.
Xanthan.
Kellogg's is entering the race to reinvent breakfast with the help of Steve Schwinn, Chef Boyardee, and Jack LaLanne.
They're stacking the deck with ringers.
You know Isaiah Lamb from Quaker?
You Kellogg's people.
We're about to have some very powerful people very upset.
You have to win. Are you making any progress?
It's not to scale, but
What are you guys, 5 years old? Little John draws better than that. And I think there's something wrong with him.
nobody said this was gonna be easy.
We're talking about happy childhoods for millions of American kids. The important thing is the name.
Fruit Magoos. What?
No,
Heat 'em up and eat 'em ups.
no sale.
Oblong nibblers.
Is this a joke?
Whoever gets to the shelves first is gonna win this thing.
Give up the tarts only!
How did it get this far?
It's breakfast. Things happen.
Isn't this a cereal company? Why did my husband explode?
Or writers.
Yeah, that was the trailer for Unfrosted, again released on Netflix on May 3rd, 2024. This year, rated PG-13, with a runtime of 97 minutes, written by Jerry Seinfeld, Spike Ferenstein, Andy Robin, and Barry Marder, directed by Seinfeld himself. Now, it stars Seinfeld, and you had Melissa McCarthy there. Jim Gaffigan, I believe, have the most on-screen time, but if you were able to pause the trailer that we saw, and just with the amount of names that are in this movie, just the billing that's received on the made poster, you have Seinfeld, Melissa McCarthy, Jim Gaffigan, as I said, also Hugh Grant and Amy Schumer as well, portraying the heiress of the Post Company. Initial thoughts on this is I was really excited when I heard the idea of this movie, because I always love fictionalized history, especially when it's done from a comedic standpoint. It's one of my favorite things, and especially with who's at the helm of it. I was very excited for it, and we'll dive into that more further, but just in terms of the initial thoughts before watching. Greg.
Yeah, you were talking about the amount of people in this. I think if you took comedic actors, it would be a shorter list to name who's not in this film. So this, I was definitely looking forward to this, and the trailer, oddly, I think had quite a few scenes that weren't in the movie. Or, yeah, and I love when trailers do that, because it's it's always get those moments where you know things get spoiled, and you're like, oh, it's not as funny now that I saw it on the film.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, again, same thing with the cast that's on here. And I didn't even know half the people that were in here. I was really excited, and I'm just gonna say I'm gonna probably be watching this again soon.
Right. Todd?
I think Greg's the one who let me know about this, because I hadn't heard about it originally a while back. I don't know. I was interested in the idea. I mean, I know the story of it. No, it's not the accurate telling of it. I'll just say it now. But
You don't say.
no,
Except the Mar-a-Lago part.
That's right.
I have one issue. Well, more than one, but there's a timeline. The other one came out first, and then Pop-Tarts came out, and then they just destroyed the other one. So the story's not, accurate. So just that.
Why are you trying to be me? Why are you trying to be me?
It wasn't a race
to steal my gimmick.
It wasn't a race to market. That's all I'm saying. The other one came out first. Then Pop-Tart made the idea and had a better name and sold the hell out of it.
That would have been such a better movie. Hey guys, made this product.
We jacked that idea. We made it better, and there you go. But no, sorry. That's just
Wolfenstein and Doom. It's okay.
That's right. And Rise of the Triad after, which nobody knows about, but it was fantastic.
No, I just, from start to finish, I was intrigued by this, and I think what was a little bit interesting is I was watching this with my girlfriend and her 12-year-old son, and he was actually interested and intrigued and paying attention, but not laughing. But I mean, not laughing in the sense like, oh, that's not funny, but just not laughing like I think like xanthan gum, like that kind of humor, like wasn't hitting with him because it's like a Newman kind of thing. But it's funny because we see all these ingredients when we look at these now, because when you're older, you start to look at the ingredients inside whatever you're eating. So to say that they're like, oh, they're using that, oh, they're using that, like you see these random ingredients in all these products or whatever. So to see that being discussed, it was amusing. But I was completely blown away by the performance from the two kids. Both the kids were great. The dumpster diving kids.
Oh yeah.
But the girl specifically, like, holy cow. Like it's very difficult with child actors because you kind of got to give them a pass a lot of the times. Because sometimes like a line won't sound exactly right, or
Right.
I don't know what but just something doesn't hit right, but you'll give them past their kid, whatever. But
Right.
I don't know, props to the acting coaches for these two kids, but it was a completely different performance that was incredible. And it took me off guard. Now I wouldn't say
I
go ahead.
sorry, I
No,
do
no,
want
go
to
ahead.
jump in on this because over the weekend we hung out with my brother-in-law and my nephew, and he likes watching Bluey. And I had a moment like that with him because it wasn't the line that he said, it was his delivery. And when someone delivers a line great, and I'm not saying my nephew's like this fantastic actor or anything, but he nailed this line. I guess there's a movie or a show called Bluey, and there's this episode where they're like talking about how to unwrap gifts or something or give gifts, and there's one who's like an older and likes doing things the traditional way, and I guess one of the kids says this, and my nephew just with the most conviction goes, "It's not the 80s, Pat." And like he just nailed it so hard. And so like that feeling is like that feeling with that girl, like everything she said, I agree with you, like she nailed her role.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the kids are great. Yeah, especially her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say like, oh, my favorite moments were these two kids. I just wanted to really highlight the because this movie's chock full of funny lines, funny moments. And while I would not mention these two kids as part of like, my absolute favorite moments, I just needed to shine a light on those two, because every time they showed up, it was just like perfect with it wasn't too much, it wasn't too little, it was spaced out perfectly. And when you would see them, you'd be shocked, but you'd be pleasantly surprised. It's almost like the comedic relief of the comedic relief, like the comedic relief of the comedy almost. And it was almost like that same formula. But in terms of favorite lines, I mean, I had a really hard time not keeping my stuff together when they got the massive computer and you have the computer analyzing everybody. And then it gets to Martin's character and it pulls out, says he's freeballing it. For a computer to point that out just like made me lose it. Just too funny. But I mean, this movie is so chock full of these moments and these lines that that had to just be one of them I go with. I have a complete list here of tons of other stuff that just made me bust up laughing. Especially it had moments where you would see one thing and you'd kind of either be puzzled, like, how is this going to continue? Or how's this going to make sense in the grand scheme of things, whatever. And then I don't want to spoil anything because it is fairly new, but it was a particular scene with Amy Schumer and a typewriter. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, that is one of my many that I have written down. And as a matter of fact, one of the opening lines of the kids, where they do say a line where they go garbage, or they're asked what they're eating, and they're like, garbage or goo. It's something the man doesn't want you to have. And I was just like, oh, that's great. And I for sure thought that was going to be like my number one. The typewriter, like you said, fantastic. But I do have to say the moment for me was the funeral scene.
Mm.
And there's so many moments in that funeral scene that you can pick several different things as a highlight, which makes it difficult. And I'll leave it at that just since this movie is so fresh.
There you go. I got you. Todd?
Well,
Are you kidding me?
I am not. And I'm far from the only one. This did not click with me at all. I kind of sat there just like I was interested, but I wasn't laughing at anything. I laughed at one thing, and it was more of a "this is really stupid," so I'm gonna laugh.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He needed some LD in there, just the humor. I don't know. The just this felt like boring Seinfeld humor to me. It wasn't like edgy. I don't know. There's something just nothing about this clicked, and not that Seinfeld's edgy really, but I don't know.
So, okay. Oh man. Okay. I
Melissa McCarthy
dang
annoyed
it.
me.
Okay. I'm really trying hard not to spoil one thing in particular, but you have a costumed character.
That is the one. That is the thing I have down for my favorite thing is when all the costume characters go off and do what they do.
The protest.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was the one I was like, okay.
I felt that had that like, not that I don't mean to say it was like necessarily edgy, but it was. It felt like that same sense of like Larry David would have written something like this.
I think
where he
it would
had
have been
that
way
happen.
smarter because I was like, this is so effing dumb, but I'm laughing at how dumb it is. I didn't think it was funny like traditionally, but I thought it was really dumb, and that made me laugh.
So for me, it hit a little different, just because like I used to be a costume character.
Okay, I get
And
that.
I'm sitting there going, they do deserve to be paid more and recognized. And I was like, but
no, you like
maybe
that,
not
like
that
that when he was talking about the head, like, oh yeah, I'll get the guys on the lab to work on it.
So we
There's
saw,
no lab.
No.
Yeah, we saw Tweedledum, and I don't know who your character was, Greg, so I can't say it.
Good old
Up
Buzz
there,
Lightyear.
I Buzz Lightyear up there
Right.
with them. Okay, good.
But I like that that protest scene that you're referring to, that had the right build to it. So when I saw like what they were trying to do and trying to pull off, like it made it funnier because it made sense in the grand scheme of things and what was going on in this movie. It's not like, oh, let's just do this because it happened in real life and we'll just add in some lines to make it make sense. That was like the build, almost like a climactic like punchline.
It was like a moment of a wait, are they? Yeah, they are.
And then you hear the chants and you're like, oh wow, this is I mean, for me when I was consuming that content, so to speak, this part of the movie happened. I just couldn't help but just sit back and think to myself, this is freaking fantastic.
Mhm.
Like just saying that, because you see the guy with the horns and you're like, this is too good. This is too good. Sorry. I mean, that's just where I was coming from. Because I had seen there was a lot of, it wasn't critically well received, right? And I started to think, was this the case because this one scene turned off a lot of people?
Right.
No,
because
it's not just the critics. A lot of the people posting about it are, and I don't think they they don't care about that.
Okay. Well, well then we've gone through our favorite moments. Well, I'm willing to say I had no problem with it. I thought it was fantastic. It held the interest of a 12-year-old, which in today's day and age is very difficult to do.
But he didn't laugh.
What's that?
But he said
he didn't laugh because he didn't. You needed to know that
it kept my interest too.
Well, but but in terms of the the ingredients, like I was saying, like it's funny to me because we read that stuff. It wouldn't be funny to him because he has no idea what xanthan gum is.
Because we didn't have cell phones, we had to sit and read things to entertain ourselves.
I know one complaint I heard people have was that like a lot of the references were too boomer. I'm on the cusp, so I got most of all that stuff, But I for you guys, like the jokes, some of like the very time, of the era jokes, just
Okay. So let me ask this.
okay.
If you have a German guy say, I've seen an angry mob like this before. Where was I? Would that be considered a boomer joke?
In more ways than one.
I don't think it would be, because like it's historical reference. I think talking about products
right.
of the time is the problem.
Talking about products of the time?
Yeah, there's some like specific products that are like thrown in throughout that are like referenced that
Because
like,
they were actual products, and
yeah, there's stuff like
so
that in there.
Are there people that believe they actually had a cereal named Grandma's Holes?
I hope so.
I'm curious. Do people
I don't know.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe that there was an actual cereal called Grandma's Holes, that was not a real cereal. Sorry to break it to you, but is that the case? Because I'm having a hard time.
I don't know. I'm not the one who has those issues. I'm just saying
Well,
that
even
was a
still,
pretty big complaint I heard.
You got movies like Star Wars and X-Men and all these like different things that throw in little things for the people who might be more familiar with the, history and all that stuff. It doesn't make the movie worse because you don't get all the references, but it does make it better if you know them,
And but back to my point about like the German comment, he was like, "Oh no, that's not a boomer joke because that has historical context. It's history." Well, yeah, these products were in our history, so
yeah,
it's
but
difficult.
no one gives a crap about Kellogg's
It's difficult
history.
to say, though. It's difficult to say, "Oh, this is filled with boomer jokes because it's a movie that took place in the 1960s." What would you want them to do? Like, I mean,
I get it.
What's supposed to happen there?
I kind of see Todd's point at the same time. World War II versus
no,
but cereal product. One's definitely easily more known by the masses.
Yes, I understand that. But if you're making a movie that takes place in the 60s, that's about food. It only makes sense to mention products that were actually around at the time. Somebody just got too upset that they couldn't eat Grandma's Holes. Somebody just got too upset they couldn't get Grandma's Holes, and they were too excited. So they're like, I hate this movie. So that's all. I'm going to post about that. I hate this movie. Or is it some
the
people?
Internet's
Wait a
for,
second. No. I know what it is.
For
I get
Grandma's Holes, or
we've all seen Avenue Q. We all know what the internet is for. So, but honestly, though,
what's Avenue
I just want to connect things for a second. Wasn't an interview recently that kind of got Seinfeld in some heat with some of the younger generation because the line was, the far left have killed comedy? I believe that was the quote. Like too much political correctness and whatnot. And then there was a lot of social media posts that would post that quote, and then you'd have like a meme that would basically say how Seinfeld wasn't funny. So I'm hearing I'm hearing the comment of, I'm hearing the comment of, oh, there's too many boomer jokes. And I'm trying to think of like, well, there's this audience, or there's this group.
See, we should have did Flamin' Hot. No boomer jokes.
I guess. But it just seems like kind of like it's very easy to say, oh, this guy said the far left killed comedy. Well, his movie only has boomer jokes. It seems like a very
South Park. They were
seems like a very South Park thing. Which is kind of makes sense
because now he's like offending both sides with this movie, and
that's what I love about it.
So you think, which is the way life and comedy should be.
Absolutely, make fun of everything.
Yeah,
nobody should get a pass.
That's why Matt's
should watch Brad Williams' new special, Starfish.
Exactly, it's on YouTube. Yeah. Brad Williams' special, Starfish, friend of the show, on YouTube. Go check it out. I'm sorry, Todd. What were you saying?
I think I was going to say that's why the South Park guys like offend everyone, because no one can give you shit if you do.
That's true. If you offend everybody, no one can accuse you of favoring a particular side.
Right.
So there you go. And I think, I don't know if maybe in retrospect, actually, I'm not going to go into that because it might spoil some stuff. So I'll just leave it at that. So we've already discussed a lot about the contest movie. When we get into the ratings, I had a good time with it. But again, I'm a huge Seinfeld guy, so keep that in mind. You can say I'm biased, or you can not say I'm biased. I don't really care. 5 for me. Greg?
So this is a movie, and Ozzy, you're probably not going to like this, statement of it. This is, for me, I think this is going to be a Lost Skeleton type movie, and what I mean by that is,
hold on, Ozzy's got to change his
like the first time watching it, I'm kind of in this mode of I want to see where this is going, and I'm more concerned and focused on the storytelling and what the actual story is. And I did have a lot of fun with it and found a lot of humor within the film. I think now that I have that foundation of what the film is, and I can sit back and enjoy the nuanced comedy of it, I think this next time I watch it, it's going to be even funnier. And so I think it's one of those kind of films that it's great the first time you watch it, but it's going to gain some value. Or maybe Four Rooms is a better one for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there
Thank
you go.
you. Thank you. Because it was not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening in my head.
But I agree with you. I think this is a 5. I really enjoyed the film, and I think it's going to get better each time I watch it.
Okay, to your point, like with Four Rooms, it does get more enjoyable each time you watch it because you know what you're getting.
Mhm.
I see what you mean. That makes sense. Now let's just strike Lost Skeleton from the record of this
No,
episode.
never.
Yes. Todd?
This is no Lost Skeleton.
You know, if you didn't live so far away, I would punch you right in the mouth right now.
Wait, first you want to
It's
say
no
it's
Lost
no Lost
Skeleton?
Skeleton? You first were just saying this is no Lost Skeleton. Now that Todd says it.
No. When I say this is no Lost Skeleton, it's
This
like,
is
this is no
no
piece of crap Lost Skeleton. Todd's like, no, this is nothing like the greatness of Lost Skeleton.
I didn't say
That's
those
the
were
kind of thing that makes me want to punch you in the face.
This is no Lost Skeleton. I'd much rather watch that again. But honestly, this seems like
You
one
are
if I
such a
watched-
liar.
I just said, but honestly, this is one that I'm open to watching again because it might grow on me. But as of right now, I'm just like, it didn't click. I'm right in the middle. I'm a 2.5. It's average to me.
Interesting.
Sorry.
You don't need to apologize.
Maybe I don't understand Huber.
Let us know if you watch it again. This
will.
way we can see if there's any update to it.
Yeah,
it's gonna
and
be a few weeks at least.
Yeah, well, I actually watched this before this was officially what we were reviewing. I wanted to see it, so
Oh, I see.
I was kind of bummed. I tried not to tip my hand when this came up either, but I watched it, so I was like, all for it. Let me take a crap on it. Sorry.
Wow. Of all the stuff that you've given higher scores for, you're giving this a 2.5.
Sorry, I'll do this one. No Once Bitten.
Okay, now I'm on my way. And
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say
yeah, okay, you can say whatever you want. I will drive to your house and I will knock on your door. And when you don't answer, I'm gonna bust it down and I'm gonna punch you right in the mouth because blasphemy. God.
But it's okay because Todd, you'll have enough warning when he's arriving because you'll hear the banana. So it'll give you time to get away. Don't worry.
You don't understand, Greg. I have new music now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but it could be your big return in the old gear.
That's just out of my octave, so I chose to go with the old one. I mean, you've been away for a while, so
just because we will acknowledge him. There we go.
Yes.
Acknowledge him.
Okay, ladies. Oh, dang it! It's not. That is not that I'm not doing the finger point. That is Monch doing the finger point, not me. All right, fine. That's our review of Unfrosted. It's okay. All right, we get it. Please don't make me throw stuff. That is our review of Unfrosted. Available on Netflix to stream right now. Check it out if you're a Seinfeld fan. If you're on the fence, check out the trailer another time. See if you might want to check it out. But I will say there will be a high chance that it will grow on you. There'll be a high chance you might enjoy it a second time. Like what Greg was saying, I agree that it might be one of those movies where the more times you watch it, the more you might enjoy it. But time will tell. This is fairly new, fairly fresh. Maybe when it's sogged in the milk a little bit, that's when Todd would like it. See, look at that.
I like what you did
Yeah.
there. I
Oh,
like
man,
what you
I'm
did
so smart sometimes. All right. So feel free to check it out. Now, if you're in the Orange County area, I'll be hosting trivia Monday night, every Monday night, the Rush Bar and Grill at 6:30, every Tuesday at the Brewery in Placentia at 7 o'clock, currently at Wednesdays, Griffin's Grill at 7:30 in Los Alamitos, and every Thursday at the Honey Pot Meadery at 7:30, always free to play and prizes for the top winning teams. You guys have anything else before we head out through the evening?
See you next week
for a brand new episode. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Flesh Wound producer Todd and world famous juggler Greg Larson, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.